Is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about some of the best consoles that you can collect for if you're on a budget. Now, with all these recommendations right here, these are all game consoles that I do enjoy collecting for. So I'm not just going to throw in game consoles that are just cheap. These are consoles that I believe that there are a good variety of games that are worth playing, picking up, and enjoying. And also, I'm not going to be ranking these in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to rank them from which one is the most expensive to which is the cheapest, and which is the best to which is the worst. These are just consoles that I consider to be some of the best if you are tight on the money or just trying to save a little bit, or you just don't have much to spend. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of these awesome consoles to collect for if you're on a budget, right after the intro. Alright, so I want to start things off pretty strong by talking about one of my own personal favorite consoles that I like to collect for. Not just because it's cheap, but also because I really do enjoy the console and I've had a lot of great memories playing on it, and that is the Xbox 360. There are so many great games on the Xbox 360. You've got the Halo games, the Crackdown games, which are criminally underrated. You've got Dead Rising 1. You've got Gears of War, Forza, the old school Call of Duties, Viva Pinata, another underrated 360 game. There are so many great games on this console. Like I said, I've had so many great memories on this console. So if you are looking for some games from back in the day that are still fun and are cheap, I gotta say, you cannot go wrong with picking up the Xbox 360. You don't really have to look far for deals for them either. I find 360 games all the time at thrift stores, at garage sales, estate sales. I found great deals on Facebook Marketplace where it's like 20 games for $50. On eBay even, I can even find lots of, say, $50 free shipping with 10 games, and these aren't just like Madden and all that. They're like good ones too, and they're like Halo and like Battlefield and games like that, games that you would actually want to play. And I have to say, there are so many great games on this console. I love it. So I have to say, if you are looking for a great console for great prices with a great library of games, you cannot go wrong with the Xbox 360. Alright, now this is one of the consoles that I've been enjoying collecting for myself lately, and that is the PlayStation 4. That's right, back in the 8th generation, one generation back from where we're at now with the PlayStation 4. Just like the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 4, you don't really have to look far to get good deals for the console. I've seen PS4 games at yard sales, I've seen them at thrift stores, I've got some pretty good local deals off of Facebook Marketplace. Of course, there are some pretty good lots that I've seen on eBay. Now, even though right behind me, I don't have all of my PS4 games out on display, but I will show you a few of my local pickups that I've picked up recently. Recently got God of War, Spider-Man, and Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 HD Remix. These are some pretty solid titles, and what's really nice about them, you don't have to look far to find decent prices on games such as this. The PlayStation 4, what's really nice about it as well is that it's backwards compatible on the PlayStation 5, meaning if you have a PlayStation 5, you don't have to go out and buy a PlayStation 4. So that's one less piece of hardware that you have to buy to play some of these games. And like I said, You don't have to spend a lot to get a lot, which is one more reason why I love collecting for the PlayStation 4. Great games, great prices, and just great value for everything. I gotta say, if you're looking for a great console to collect for, if you're on a budget, you cannot go wrong with PlayStation 4. Now, this is another fantastic console that I love to collect for, and that is the original Xbox. The original Xbox has such a great library of games. Blinx the Time Sweeper, Crimson Skies, this one right here, a classic, Halo Combat Evolved. This revolutionized the first-person shooter genre. This is a fantastic game. Of course, you've got the original Forza Motorsport. This is a very underrated game right here, grabbed by the ghoulies. Of course, I can go on, Mech Assault, right? So many great games on the original Xbox. Now, with the original Xbox, I have a personal goal of mine that maybe one day I may go for an entire original Xbox set, and I would love to do the same thing too with the Xbox 360. And I've had no trouble finding deals for this console at all. I mean, you don't have to look far to get good deals on the original Xbox, right? Even at your local mom and pop retro game store, you can find some pretty solid games for the console for not very much money. And for a little while, what I used to do was I would sometimes look for deals where it would come with like multiple games for one set price. And I would try to do is look to see that if I could negotiate the price to, where I'd get it for a better price, and I would keep the games that I don't have and try to flip the games that I've got already and try to either break even or make a profit. And I was pretty successful with that for a while, which I gotta say really helped me out with my original Xbox collection. Of course, it also helped too that a good chunk of these I did find through local deals and thrift stores. I've picked them up at garage sales, right? There are just so many great games on the original Xbox. You just simply cannot go wrong with it. I think it is just filled with so many great exclusives. This was a console that I personally neglected back during the 6th generation. I personally preferred PlayStation 2 over the original Xbox. But as the years have gone by, I'm looking back and I'm just like, wow, what an incredible library of games. I mean, this is another one that you just cannot go wrong with when it comes to collecting on a budget. Now, this is a console that I find deals for all the time, and I have to say, this is my largest game library here in the game room, and that is the PlayStation 2. I have a little under 600 PlayStation 2 games, and even though I currently do not have them out right now, I do have a video of a previous room tour that you can check right here, where you will be able to see my PlayStation 2 library when I had the majority of all my games that I have out at one time. Now, what's really nice about the PlayStation 2 is this is another console that you can pick up a lot of games for not very much money. I used to be able to do was look for PS2 consoles, and I would essentially, keep the games, sell the console for a profit, and then use my profit to purchase other games, not just PS2 games, but other games in the game room. And I have to say, with the PlayStation 2, there are so many great games that you can pick up for some great prices, like Jak and Daxter, right? This is a phenomenal platformer. I love Jak and Daxter. Of course, there are the old school Call of Duties. You've got God of War. You've got ATV Off-Road Fury, right? I'll link a video right here that you guys can check out where I do recommend some games for the PlayStation 2 that you can pick up for just about $5. right? Because I gotta say, if you're on a budget, you cannot go wrong collecting with the PlayStation 2. So many great games. Plus, it also helps that this console was the best-selling game console of all time, meaning that there is so much supply out there after all these years that, it just helps for, people out there that are on a budget that want to build a game collection to be able to find games without spending a whole bunch of money. Now, I will say with the PlayStation 2, there are some pretty rare games out there that can easily go above $200, but I would be willing to argue that the majority of PS2 games are relatively cheap, right? Maybe not the majority, but there's a good chunk of them that are cheap. Don't have to go far to find some great PS2 games for very cheap. I have to say, this is a phenomenal console to collect for if the money is tight. Trust me on this one, you will love it. Now, I remember when this console first came out, I did not like it. But of course, as you guys can tell, my opinions have changed as the years have gone by, and that is the PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 3 has some really great games on there. After all, there's Uncharted, there is Infamous, there is MotorStorm, right? There are some really great games on the PlayStation 3. And just like all the other consoles in this video, it's also a very cheap console to collect for. Of course, there was a little while where I did enjoy collecting for the PlayStation 3 just because I was getting so many great games that I missed out on back when I was focused on the Xbox 360 during that time. Don't get me wrong, I still played on the PlayStation 3 during that generation, but I did dedicate the majority of my time on the Xbox 360. And now, since the games are really, really cheap, I have taken advantage of the situation and went back and decided to pick up some PlayStation 3 games as the years have gone by. After all, as mentioned from before, there are some great games on there. If you are looking for a great console to collect for and you are looking for some great quality titles like God of War 3, Killzone 2, Killzone 3, right? This is a great console to play on and to collect for. I love collecting for the PlayStation 3. Hopefully you guys will too if you do decide to give the console a chance. After all, I gotta say, there is a tremendous great variety of great exclusives on the console. I believe that you just can't go wrong collecting with the PlayStation 3. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to check out these videos here, and here. After all, I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, and other video game related subjects. So be sure to keep an eye out every Monday and Friday where I upload consistently, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.